Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Pod. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. This week I only have a couple of shows to talk about. I had Friday night at MD Sports Bar and Grill in Peoria, and then Saturday morning at the Kankakeed Farmers Market. So the Friday one, Dave and Lo both performed with me, which a little bit unexpected last minute, but kind of good that happened because it was booked as a three-piece, and Doug had to drop out. One of his friends had passed away, so he had to go to he didn't have to. He wanted to go to the ceremony and all that. So Dave tagged in, and it was nice. It was a good... I hadn't played with Dave in a while, and he seems to be kind of back into it kind of a lot, so that's good. Thought he played pretty well, and Lo did just as good, and there was kind of a weird thing. Well, a couple things that happened that night. It was Friday of last week. It poured. We got there. It looked cloudy, but we looked at the radar, and it was saying it wasn't going to be rainy for that long. So we played at 8. We got there at about a little after 6, and we were, setting up for kind of like a full band feel, and there were kind of beer garden outside. And, of course, around like 7:15, it just started pouring, like, super hard. And they had a covering, so, most of our gear didn't get too wet or anything like that. But definitely, obviously, discouraged people from coming, I think, ultimately. We ended up and had a few people that came out and hung out. And it was an appropriate performance, I think, for the amount of people that were there. We weren't too loud. The other thing I was going to say is, kind of a dumb thing I did. I used my in-ears again, but I set them up wrong. I forgot to hit one button on the in-ears. All night I was kind of, meddling, fussing around with that. It's just so funny that, my whole night was kind of, not lost, but just kind of got... something was taken from it because my focus, my attention was trying to get it to sound right instead of, just being the performance. So it's a little weird, but it's just one button made the difference. So 8 to 11, it stopped raining before we started, and there's probably like 10 people to 15 people throughout the night that kind of passed in and out. So, I don't know, wasn't super thrilled about the turnout, but it was nice to kind of get back to doing it with Dave and Lo, just kind of old school style performance. And so, yeah, that was the Friday. Got back kind of late on the Saturday. We ended up and went to McDonald's after Lo and I, and we ended up waiting in line for like 45 minutes. It was crazy. And definitely not worth it. But, when you're done, by the time we're done, it's like 12:30. It's like, what is even open? By the time we would have got back to Bloomington, would have just been McDonald's anyway. What we should have done is planned for being hungry after the show. But, of course, I never do that, which is always a mistake. So then I got home. I had 2 shows the next day. I was supposed to have 2 shows. And I ended up sleeping for maybe 1 or 2 hours. Because by the time I actually fell asleep, and, then I had to get up I think I got up around 6:30 for the Kankakee Farmers Market. Because, it's an hour and a half drive. Got to set everything up, and I did it solo. So I was very tired that day, and I wasn't 100% sure how it was going to go because of that. But, and of course I pulled in around 8:30, and it was sprinkling out. I was like, great, another one of those shows. But it turned out, and didn't really rain throughout the whole performance. It was still pretty busy. I clicked that button on my in-ears, and it felt like it sounded really solid. Just felt good all around. It was in the morning, but I don't know if I was still kind of warmed up from the last night. I didn't really warm up in the car or anything, but it felt really good. And I Played a lot of originals, some covers, but 2 hours, mostly originals, and getting a lot of good responses from the crowd. So I was excited about that. And then I probably got on the road around 12:45. Stopped at Pontiac, had lunch with my mom, and I made the mistake of not looking at the weather for Decatur, which is where my second show was, till about then when I was leaving Pontiac, and it looked pretty disastrous. So tried reaching out to the lady that booked it. It's just like it was actually a 50th birthday party for this person, and couldn't get a hold of her. Of course, didn't have a cell phone. Just had the Messenger app on Facebook that she had hit me up through. But I sent some message. I did the Facebook calling, and I ended up, and she got back to me, and we kind of talked about it. And to me, it was just kind of like a bonus show. And it seemed like she was really leaning towards canceling, but she didn't want to put me out at all. So I pretty much just let her off the hook because it was a long day. It was a long day already, So it was kind of nice. I came home. I took a 2-hour nap and then just kind of hung out, kind of recharged the batteries. And then, of course, there's this week, which is supposed to play at the Windjammer. Found out it was double booked a couple weeks back. Of course, no chance of getting something in the books. They keep saying they're gonna reschedule it, but haven't gotten around to it. So that's a bummer. But what it has done is it allowed me to really prepare for the 2 shows tomorrow, because I don't think either of those are really going to get canceled. It's supposed to be pretty nice out during the day. So we play at Sugar Creek Music Festival. Lo and I are doing that 2:30 to 4, and then we're going to kind of hustle to get our stuff loaded up and get over to the Station Saloon in Bloomington for the night show, and that's 6 to 9. So I'm not really sure whether we'll be on the patio for that or if we will just be indoor again. That's how it was last time. So it's going to be super busy. So I guess, in a way, besides the money I'm losing from the double booking and, my self-validation that I get from performing, I'm able to ultimately prepare all my gear and stuff to make that transition from the first show to the second show. And that way, too, I won't have to do as much in the morning, because I'm going to be leaving for that show around 1, so I'll probably sleep in until at least 11, I would say. So I'm not going to be as, not going to be as much of a Russian tomorrow. So I'll be able to kind of take my time, get ready, ease into the shows, hopefully be pretty relaxed vibe, which I think is always better. I've been watching some of the State and Maine stuff, which is the TV performance I'm doing at the end of the month. I don't know what I think about it. It's like there's been some killer acts on there throughout. I mean, there's been a lot of people, but Chicago Farmer's done it. Ed Anderson has done it. Buddy of mine, Elliot Sedgwick, has done it. And all 3 of those guys are great. And I saw Athea Grace. I think that's her name. She had done it. The Wild Reeds, which is a band I actually found out from an NPR Tiny Desk performance, where I thought they were pretty good. They have one song I like a lot anyway. So, I mean, some definitely, bigger acts. So, I feel like it'll be a good chance to get something, good out of it. But, of course, along with that, as I've talked about, there's been some pressure. There will be more pressure, because it'll just be me doing the one-man band thing. It's kind of, it looks like a little cheesy. But I think that it's just because it's TV. I'm also a little confused, too, because it looks like the only way to get to that series is through the website, and you can't even, get a URL for your specific performance. I was really hoping that I could, cut up the video and, put specific songs on YouTube to like kind of show maybe the better ones and get to the point a little bit quicker. And also, if I wasn't going to be able to do that, it would be really nice if I could send a link directly to that video, but it doesn't look like I'm not seeing a way to find it, or to, the only shareable link is to the like home screen of all the videos from the season, and so you'd have to really scroll through to find mine, which might be a good thing. If I do a terrible job, I might just keep it hard to find. But if I do a good job, it's like, how do I get people to see it? Because it looks, pretty legit. They definitely are trying to do like a very Saturday Night Live type feel. Like with the opening, it's like exactly like SNL, and the announcer and the intros, and then, but it's music based. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be practicing a lot, really preparing for it. These shows will definitely help. We definitely have a few of those coming up, so more than a few. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. I mean, I wish I had more to say. We were going to release the Maybe Another Time project this last Monday, but Facebook was down and Instagram was down, and Wolf was in California doing kind of some touristy type stuff. It seemed like he was pretty busy, so I think we're going to try to really start posting stuff this next Monday, and we'll probably post pretty hard, so be on the lookout for that. A little 3-track EP, a couple music videos that go with a couple of the tunes, so excited to get that out and to you. Haven't been in to finish Good Friends quite yet, but it's going to be here soon. And I think I'm going to start dedicating a couple hours a week to getting the rest of the T-Way album done. Because there's still 3 tracks I'm going to have to kind of go back and, just record from, almost start. There's Digital Soul, I kind of have a rough cut of that I could use as a starting point, and then I'll still have Fool's Gold, which I've done a rough start, just like getting the form out for that one, and then Logan, which I'll pretty much be doing from scratch. So trying to get that stuff, that'll be good to have that to work for, or work towards. But that's about it. I don't know. I guess, as always, I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen, and that's what I'll be talking about the 2 shows tomorrow next week, so I'll be going from there. As always, thank you, and have a good one.